welcome everyone. Me, Rohit Khandal, is here with my team members to present our work for emission spectrum. And my team members are Aditya, Ishant Bisim, me, Rohit Khandal, and Shakshi Singh Dangi. And we are presenting this experiment to Professor Aluwalia sir.
Here we are going to know what spectra. So definition of the spectra is we all know the white light is the combination of the seven colors of the light. So when the white light is passes through a prism used to disperse this light into seven colors, and the band of seven colors obtained is known as spectrum of light. And here we are going to know what is type of spectra. So there are mainly two types of spectra: emission spectra and absorption spectra. So in emission spectra, when the light emitted directly from the source and then examined with the spectrometer, then the emission spectrum is obtained. And in absorption spectra, when the light emitted from a source, first it made to pass through an absorbing material and then examined with an spectrometer, then the obtained spectrum is known as absorption spectrum. This is something more about emission spectra. First of all, the definition of the emission spectra. So this is the spectrum of frequencies of electromagnetic radiations that are emitted when an atom or molecule is making transition from higher energy level to a lower energy level. This is the figure that shows us the hydrogen emission spectrum and hydrogen absorption spectrum. So emission spectra are usually produced by the thin glasses because it does not experience many collisions, as it is have like a lower density. These in emission spectra, we can see the bright lines on the dark backgrounds. So these bright lines refer as the photons of the discrete energies that are making transitions from higher energy level to a lower line levels. Here you can see the emanation of dispersion of white light through a prism. So when a light is passed through a prism, first it refracted and then it dispersed into seven colors. So this is known as spectrum of light. This is about an emission, absorption, and continuous spectrum. So we can differentiate these three spectra. So in continuous spectra, here we can see continuous color band of color is obtained, and in absorption spectra, we can found dark lines on a bright background, and in emission spectrum, we are seeing that there are bright lines on the dark background. So when a light from bulb is passes through a prism, there is continuous spectrum is obtained, and when an hot gas is passed through a prism, then emission spectrum is obtained, and when light from bulb and cold gas is passed through a prism, then absorption line spectrum is obtained.
Okay, here I have an instrument, and I think the most important instrument for study emission spectrum, that is diffraction grating. It has periodic structures, diffract the light into several beams which travels into different directions. Here shown a formula, I think, which we use the most in this experiment, where d is the distance between the slits, theta m is the angle of diffraction for maxima, m is the order of the spectrum, and lambda is the wavelength for the light. Now going with a question which sir someday asked us, that can you guess what I like the most in physics? And he replied with the answer that in physics we eventually meet many great personalities. So here we go to meet one such a great personality who should be really appreciated when we are talking about diffraction in spectrometer, who is Joseph von Fraunhofer. He completes the theory on diffraction and established some law on diffraction. I think the diffraction grating is one of the best innovations that Fraunhofer made to study solar spectrum. He later upgraded to 10,000 parallel lines per inch. Now I have another instrument which is used to measure properties and intensity of light, and also for observing spectrum, it is a spectrometer. These four are main: collimator, prism table, vernier table, and the telescope are the main parts of spectrometer, which we're gonna discuss in the next slide. Going with the discussion on the components of the spectrometer, we have collimator, the first component. Collimator is generally used to produce parallel rays. When light passes through it, it converts the light in a parallel beam. Then we have prism table. It is usually in circular in shape, on which the parallel rays passes through and diffracted. Then we have vernier table. It have two vernier calipers. It is generally circular in shape and can be rotated into vertical axes. Then we have telescope, from which eyepiece we gonna observe the spectrum, the emission spectrum of different elements. Now again we gonna meet this great personality, Joseph von Fraunhofer. He began his research when he desired to create a glass lens that is decorated with rainbow colors, but it's not produced as he thinks. Then he realized that the problem was that the glass lens bent some colors in different directions, that it diffracts the light. Then he developed in 1814 a spectroscope to study the emission, to study the spectrum using the sunlight as the light.
Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the objective of the experiment. So to study the emission spectra of hydrogen, neon and mercury vapor. This is all about the objective of the experiment. So going through the apparatus required, first one is a spectrometer, second one is diffraction grating, third one is mercury bulb, fourth is neon bulb, and fifth one is hydrogen bulb. Okay, so now coming to the theory part. So here, when an atom or ion in substance got excited, they emit radiations of a particular frequencies. These radiations are seen in the form of spectra, which we have seen before. The diffraction grating consists of a very large number of equidistant narrow parallel rectangular slits of equal width separated by opaque portion. The ruled widths are opaque to light, and escape between any two successive lines is transparent and act as a parallel slit. Number of ruling per centimeter of grating used in visible region varies from 5000 to 12,000 line per mm. The slits of grating gives rise to diffraction, and the diffracted light interferes so to set up interference patterns. Completed constructive interference occur when the phase or the path difference is equal to some holes number of wavelength. In general, the grating equation of constructive maxima is sin theta equals to n m lambda, where m is called the order of spectrum, lambda is wavelength and number of lines per centimeter, and theta is the diffraction angle measured with respect to the direction of the light incident on the grating. Okay, so this slide is all about the adjustment that we do before starting the experiment. So here we have to adjust the things, that we have to adjust the telescope, we have to adjust the collimator, we also have to adjust the prism table so that we can get a precious readings of the experiments. So this is all about the adjustment of things that we have to done before the experiment or during the experiment. Okay, now coming to the procedure part. Through procedure we can know how we have to perform the experiment. So to performing the experiment, first we have to adjust the calibrate telescope. So in calibrate telescope we have to select the reading of 12, then we get the start button. After clicking on the start button, we get a combo box. In combo box, we have to select the lamp. There is a 3 type of lamps are given there. Then we have to switch on light button so that we can switch the light. Then vernier reading is set to 0 degree and telescope 890 degree by clicking on slider of both. Then click the place grating button so that the grating can be placed. Turn the telescope to left, coincide vertical cross wire with the green line on the pattern. Here we just take the example of green, but several different colors are there. Then note the reading of vernier 1, vernier 2. Telescope is moved to right of the directed image and vertical wire is made to coincide with green line of pattern. Then note the reading of vernier 1 and vernier 2 again. Click on slide under fine angle to get reading more precisely. Difference between the two reading on the same vernier we have to take. Then mean value of difference give us 2 theta, twice the angle of diffraction. From this, the value of theta is obtained for green light, as we are just going through green line first. Assuming the wavelength of green line 546 nanometer, the number of line per nanometer is calculated using equation n is equals to sine theta by m lambda, where m is the order.
This is the simulation video. We can go through it.
Okay, now coming to the simulation link. As the simulation link of the Rohit has been already attached, so the link of the other members of the group are as followed.
So this is the observation table for mercury, or we can say for light produced from mercury lamp. Here are different colors: green, violet, blue, yellow and red. And here are the adjustment that we have made to coincide the green line with the middle wire. And after that we have taken vernier 1 and vernier 2 readings, and the difference of these vernier 2 and vernier 1 will be written here, and then finding the mean of left and right for a specific color. This is the mean, and the mean that we can see in the procedure, that the mean is the twice the angle of the theta. The theta is the diffraction angle of diffraction. Then here this is an angle of diffraction for the green light, and then putting all these things in the formula, n is equals to sine theta by m lambda, we can find the number of lines per meter.
So this is the observation table for a hydrogen lamp. Here we can choose the color of light, but in hydrogen there are only 4 colors of light: violet, indigo, blue and red. And then we have the side of the light, like we have a middle line from which side we can get the light, or it is left side or it is right side. So these are the sides of the light: angle of the telescope, angle of the vernier table and fine angle of the telescope. So in here, the vernier 1 reading which I found in violet left light is 14.7, and violet right light and violet right side light, so 346.5. So when vernier 2 reading I found in violet left light is 194.73 and violet right light is 176.483, which is difference gives us the reading. So when 194.73 minus 14.7, we got 180.03. This is the difference of violet left light reading, and violet right light difference is 170.017. And we have to take these two means, and this mean is equal to 2 theta, and when this mean is divided by 2, we got the value of theta in degree. So this is the 175.023 mean we got, and theta value we got 87.511 degree. So this is the value of theta, and when the wavelength of light which I took for violet is 400 nanometer. So when this so from this formula Sin theta equals to nm lambda, where m is the order. So we got to take order 1. We got number of lines is equal to 2.4975 into 10 to the power 6. So this is about violet light, and for all lights we have done that.
Okay, so this is the observation table for neon. As you can see that here one column is for color of light, that for we are just going to calculate the things and observe the things. One column is for slide of light or side of lights. One column is for angle of telescope, one column is for angle of vernier table, one for fine angle of telescope, one for vernier 1 reading, one for vernier 2 readings, and then difference, mean, theta, wavelength and number of lines that we are all calculated, and just put the things into this tables too. Okay, so first of all just we go through the green light. So green light and left side with respect to the telescope, we get the angle of telescope is 71.5, angle of vernier table is 0, fine angle of telescope is 0.1, vernier 1 reading that we obtained here is 344.1, and the vernier 1 2 reading that we obtained is 165.1. By getting the difference of these two readings, vernier 1 and vernier 2, we get the value of 179. Then we do the things again from right side with same light, with same green light. So in this portion we get the angle of telescope is 108.95, angle of vernier table is 0, angle of telescope is again 0.1, vernier 1 reading that we obtained is 19, vernier 2 reading that we obtained is 199. Difference that we get of these two readings is just 180. Okay, then we are just going to calculate the mean, theta, wavelength and number of lights. Oh sorry, number of lines. So mean, so how we calculate the means? We just add these two different values of same color of light. One is 179 and one is 180. So just add them and just divide this sum of these two difference value by 2. Then we get the value of mean. Theta, so how we get the theta value? So just only by dividing the difference by 2 we get the value of theta. Wavelength, so for wavelength we just use the formulas, and also for number of line we use the formula n equals to sin theta by nm lambda. Okay, so this is for yellow, this is for red and this is for orange. So the same process that we explained just are applied for making this observation table of other colors for neon. So this is all about the observation table for neon.
And these are just spectrum images of different elements. This is for mercury, this is for hydrogen, and this is for neon. And these are some graphs. The graph is the number of lines per meter versus the different colors, the number of lines that we obtained in the observation table with different colors. And this is for mercury, this is for hydrogen, and this is for neon.
Okay, so coming to the calculation part, this is all about the calculation that we are all performed for the experiment. So as you can see here the formulas that we are used for doing the calculations. First one is sin theta. Sin theta is equals to n m lambda. This implies formula 2, n equals to sin theta by m lambda. So here the calculations are for mercury lamp. As you can see here, just taking example first, for green light we obtained lambda equals to 546 nanometer, theta equals to 89.95 degree. By putting this all things in formula, n equals to sin theta by m lambda, by putting the m equals to 1, we get n equals to 1.8 into 10 to the power 6 per meter. So these are all the things that we are also do for the different colors of light, and we get n for all colors of light. So this is all about the calculation part of the mercury lamp. Okay. Okay, so this slide is all about the calculation for hydrogen lamp. So this is all about the calculations that we are all do for the experiment. Okay, so this slide is all about the calculation part of neon lamp. So as you can see here, here four different color of lights are obtained, which is green, yellow, red and orange. So for all this corresponding light, we get the corresponding values of n. So this is all about. Okay, so this is all about the error analysis. So coming to the error analysis. So I'm just taking one example for mercury and explaining the things that how we are just calculated the errors. So here you can see that standard values. One column is for obtained values and one for percentage error. For lambda y, first of all, I would like to tell about that the values of the wavelength are in nanometers and the standard values are taken from NIST websites. So coming to the point, so this is the lambda y. So this lambda y stand for yellow color. The standard values given in NSIT website is 587.56. The obtained value corresponding to this lambda y is 580. So that we can get the percent error of 1.20%. Similarly for green color, for red color and for blue colors. So this is all about the error analysis for mercury. Okay, so this is for the error analysis of hydrogen. So as you can see here, same one column for standard values, some one column for obtained values and one column for percentage error. Okay, so this is all about the analysis for neon. As you can see earlier, for error analysis part of mercury, I already explained these things. So in this slide I am not just going for explaining the things. So as you can see here, one column is for same standard values, one for obtained values and one for percentage error. So here we all calculated the percentage error for lambda y, lambda g denotes green, for lambda red and for lambda orange. Okay, so this is all about for the error analysis for neon.
Okay, the result we get from all this experiment, that the neon, the mercury, the three different elements, the neon, mercury and hydrogen light sources have been viewed using a scanning spectrometer, and the wavelengths has been calculated for the Balmer and the Lemon series and then compared with the generated computer attached to the spectrophotometer.
This is the conclusion of the experiment that we have performed. So our first conclusion is that when a ray of light from any source emitted or when a source emits a light, it contains different type of colors with different wavelengths. Our second conclusion is about errors. So we all know like errors are usually occurred in real or in virtual lab. So we have got some errors and the data associated with these errors are attached. And the third point is about the main conclusion. So from this experiment, we can properly understand the wave nature of the light, and for its evidence, our data are attached. Here you can see the uses of emission spectra. So like we all know, emission spectra of different elements are unique. Like if you are going to take the emission spectra of hydrogen, that is perfectly different from that of an helium. So when the different colors of light produced by emission spectra of different elements allows them to identify it. So we can use this technique to identify the elements present in the stars. So element can be identified like which color they produce when energy used to reveal their emission fingerprints. So the colors of light which they have emitted is used to determine which element is present in these stars. And like most bright astronomical objects shine because they are hot. So in this case, we can use continuum emission, so that can tell us the temperature of the object. So we have got these uses. There are far more from that.
Okay, so this is all about the scope of extension of experiment. So as we thought this experiment can be extended further, so the following things that we can do to extend the experiments are: first one, this experiment can be further extended by adding atomic emission spectra to identify the atom. Then the second one, we can also more go deeply through predictable such that we can get more details of element. Third one is that we can also go through Rydberg experiment in order to get more understanding about Balmer and Lyman series. And fourth one, I think so, in this experiment we can also add quantum properties or something like that, or something more stuffs related to quantum studies, so that we can go more deeply and more deeply understanding the energies of light and light content photons.
This is the summary of the experiment that we have performed. So first we are going to have some short definition of the emission spectra. So an emission spectra is the spectra of radiation emitted by an atom when they make transition from higher energy level to the lower energy level. And we have performed this emission spectra experiment successfully, and we all have learned many new things about emission spectra. Like when we are performing the experiment, we have got some results. So by results we have found that number of lines per meter is usually different for different lamps and different colors of light. So we can use this property of emission spectra to detect an element. That's why it is very useful for chemistry and for physics. So we have learned many new things about emission spectra, and we have developed our innovative thinking process by performing this experiment. So we are extremely grateful for getting this opportunity.
Okay, so through this light, we are all just going to throw the light on that what would we have to prefer, real lab or virtual lab? So we thought that we would definitely prefer real lab or virtual lab. As in real lab, we can explore more and we can explore more. Nowadays, virtual lab are becoming more and more important in the era, but can they replace real lab? No, because in real lab, the student can operate by themselves and can perform the experiment in better way, and by this thing we can understand the topic in better way. But in virtual lab, all we have to just do by just clicking on simulations, and by doing nothing we can get the result. But to increase the cost of real physics laboratories, people are preferring virtual lab over real lab. But if cost is not the problem, then we would definitely prefer or suggest to use real laboratories over virtual lab.
Here are some references from where we get this whole stuff. We have Byju's.com, we have physics.nist, we have Amrita Lab, our virtual lab, and Wikipedia also, and some PowerPoint for slides. Thank you everyone. Thank you sir. Thank you ma'am for giving this beautiful opportunity to learn both soft and hard skills. Thank you.